What is the soul? Where is it? And how much does it weigh? I actually know how much it weighs. About 250 to 300 grams. But first, let me tell you what I think I know about the soul. Many of our concepts of the soul came from a time and a place where some of the earliest written books were discovered. Ancient Greece. And some of the first writings about the soul talked about it as a part of you that left your body when you died and continued in the afterlife. That was over 700 years before Jesus' birth. Soul theory blew up from there, and eventually different people started attributing the soul to plants and animals, and even talked about the soul as having separate personalities and characteristics from the person who held the soul. I'm sure there are cultures older than ancient Greece that had spiritual systems that included their idea of the soul. I actually spoke to a man in Central America who was talking about his indigenous Mosquito background and how before the Moravian Church brought over Christianity, their ancestors passed on beliefs of the afterlife. It was about life in the sky and about fiery negative feelings about what lied beneath. So I know many cultures apart from Western civilization influenced ones had soul takes. What's your soul take? Wouldn't it be interesting though if you could prove that the soul existed scientifically? Duncan McDougall, a physician, wanted to measure the weight of the soul. He did some experimenting and came up with 21 grams. I came up with 250 to 300 grams. And I'll tell you why after the story of how I met the soul. I once was driving behind a truck that skidded and crashed into the back of a standing tow truck and got destroyed, sending a man flying out of the window and landing on his head where he seized up, locked up, and passed away. I know this was true because he let out a grunt and a breath, and when he went limp, I checked his pulses and felt nothing. And as I looked into his eyes, I heard my heart sadly say, without any words, just understanding, today, you died here. And then, hope? Someone standing in the crowd yells, "Do CPR." So I do. Listen, this is not something I learned as a child. Me and the homies didn't practice our CPR skills growing up. So I did what I saw in the movies. Slow, hard chest bumps. And I couldn't bring back his soul. Someone in the crowd knew how to do CPR though. And when they shook off the shock and started chest compressions, the young man came back to life. It wasn't immediately that his eyes looked like someone was in there, but within 30 seconds or so, I knew I was looking at a soul. So, what makes a soul a soul? Where was it when that man died? Was it floating away and brought back? Was it in darkness along with his mind? Let me tell you what I think the soul is. I think the soul is housed in your brain. I think the soul is your personality, your thoughts, your experiences, memories. I think when you die, God has the ability to take your consciousness and transcend it, whether your body still exists or not. Other than that, I think your soul doesn't or can't exist apart from your body. One thing I know though, is how much the soul weighs. It weighs about 250 to 300 grams. Or about a cup of salt.
Sipping whiskey from a paper cup, you drown your sorrows till you can't stand up. Take a look at what you done to yourself. Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf? Yellow fingered from your cigarettes. Your hands are shaking while your body sweats.